But a lot of them are in, and actually some of them are in the prayer book. We just don't do them a lot, and so you may not be familiar or as familiar with them tonight. But the spirit for tonight is very special, and we have one of our great friends is returning this Shabbat. RebeSoul, Bruce Berger, is with us tonight, and he's been here a couple times over the last year and a half, 2 years. He was here we looked almost a year ago. He was here in last April, and we had a beautiful Shabbat service with the world melodies, some of them that he's made famous and given twists to, and some of the melodies are ones that he actually has composed himself. He's a great friend, and he's friends with my father, Phil, and was on JLTV a lot over the years. And tonight he's brought a very special friend with him tonight, Shlomit, who's joining us and going to help expose us to some of the songs and the melodies that came specifically from the Yemenite Jewish community, the traditions that go back hundreds, even thousands of years in Teiman to the Yemenite Jewish community, a very important part of the Jewish world that sometimes in America we're not as familiar with, we're not as exposed to, because people talk about Sephardic or Mizrahi, and they just kind of it's all lumped together. And I guess we do that sometimes with Ashkenazi as well, but the Yemenite culture and the Yemenite traditions in particular are very, very special, very old, and are built on poetry and on images and language from Arabic that is very special, and was made famous and had a big resurgence about 25, 30 years ago, primarily because of one special artist in particular, one of Israel's greatest voices, Ofra Haza, who unfortunately, tragically, passed away 23 years ago. Next week is her yahrzeit, actually, on the Hebrew calendar. On the 17th of Adar is Ofra Haza's yahrzeit. She was a woman who gave voice to a lot of these melodies. She became an international sensation. She became a voice for not just Yemenite music, Israeli music. She recorded with some of the biggest musicians around the world. And so Shlomit draws on that tradition, not just of the ancient Yemenite culture, but also of keeping alive some of the styles that Ofra Haza gave us. So Ofra Haza, for those that, again, are not that familiar with you, she was the voice of Yocheved. She was the voice of Moses' mother in the movie Prince of Egypt. And her voice was featured in that wonderful animation, a great version of the Torah. And so tonight, you get to hear a little bit of that. It's very special for us, especially for those of us who have returned from Israel, because Israel definitely has a huge imprint of the Yemenite culture. We actually, for those that were with us, I know like the Wassermans who were here were with us at our final meal at Maganda restaurant in Tel Aviv. That was a restaurant that started by a Yemenite military hero in Israel. And again, in a lot of ways, the food, the culture, the music. And so we're celebrating that tonight too. And it's getting us in the mood for Purim. So I've talked enough. I'm not going to talk a lot during services tonight, which is a wonderful thing for me just to be able to enjoy this beautiful music. So I want to introduce, actually I want to do one thing before we introduce. We're going to light Shabbat candles right here at the beginning. And I want to call up a very special woman, Randy Miller. If you'd come up, I was thinking about somebody I wanted to honor special for Shabbat tonight. And Randy just retired after many years, actually decades.
50.
That's a lot of decades. As a nurse. And you can't think of much more, many more jobs, maybe teachers and some other jobs that don't get enough attention and recognition. She's also taught, by the way. She helped teach at BKB out in Lancaster for many years, the religious school. So she's also done those underappreciated things too. But for so many years working as a nurse, and she's volunteered already to help out more here at our congregation. We're very lucky. She's going to help with our yard site and Yisker list, and which is not an easy thing to do, and is a thankless job, but we're thanking her in advance for doing that. So we're going to light our Shabbat candles. You can find the blessing. That is in our Siddur, in our prayer book. On page 5, you can find the blessings for lighting Shabbat candles. So I'm going to entrust the torch to you.
Thank you for those wonderful words. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ne'er shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
And I also don't want to embarrass her, but Randy and her husband Vern are going to be with us on our Israel trip in June. So she's going to be treating herself to that. And we have an info night for the Israel trip on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. here. So if you're interested in coming on that trip, I know some people are not going to be able to be here. It will be on Zoom, so you don't have to be here in person, and we're going to record it. But without any further ado, now, there's no more ado. We're going to call up our friends, RebeSoul and Shlomit. Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to our community tonight. Thank you so much for being here to lead us in Shabbat music.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hi, good evening.
Look, I now can monitor with, I figured out how to do this.
That's his little choreography before we start. So, bear with us.
So the song of welcome is the way we introduce the Shabbat anyway. Perfect. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamalachim, Akadosh Baruch Hu.
Shalom Aleichem, Malchei Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamalachim, Akadosh Baruch Hu.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet,
Malachi Elyon,
Mimelech Malachi Hamalachim, Akadosh Baruch Hu. So just to kind of fill you in here, when we say Shalom Aleichem, we're welcoming the angels of peace to come in. The angels of peace. And the next thing you do is you say, first of all, you say, welcome angels of peace, which is Shalom Aleichem. And then you say Boachem, which means to come in. So you're allowing them or asking them, inviting them to actually come in to your home or your heart or your soul or your family or whatever. And so it's Boachem, goes like this. Boachem l'shalom, Malachi Ashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamalachim, Akadosh Baruch Hu.
Boachem l'shalom, Malachi Ashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamalachim, Akadosh Baruch Hu.
Boachem l'shalom, Malachi Ashalom,
Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamalachim,
Akadosh Baruch Hu. The third part, you ask the angel of peace to bless you with peace. And I never knew what the heck that really meant, but Shlomit actually told me about it in Israel. Because I said, well, what is that word? And anyway, she said, it's bless me with peace. Okay? And it's Bechuni, and she'll take it from here.
Bechuni l'shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, ממלך מלכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום
מלאכי עליון
ממלך מלכי המלאכים
הקדוש ברוך הוא. Okay, the last part. You ask the angels of peace to now leave in peace. In fact, in Israel, if you go to like a, I don't know, moshav or a village or whatever, there's usually a sign on the way out, and it says,
צאתכם לשלום.
exactly, she gets it every time, I can't believe it. Seitchem l'shalom, which means leave in peace. And you see it all over the country, which I think is really cool, and that's what you say right here. You ask the angels of peace to now depart or to leave in peace. Some people actually prefer not to say that on Shabbat. They want to, they're kind of selfish people, I think, really, to keep the, it's like, you think if Santa Claus, came down the chimney and then they like trapped him in there and gave him all this hot chocolate and all this stuff, then, you wouldn't go to all these other houses. So I kind of think it's the same thing. I think there's plenty of this to go around, so why not, have them leave in peace. So it goes like this. Seitchem l'shalom, malachi ha-shalom, malachi elyon, mimelech malachi ha-malachim, hakadosh baruch hu.
צאתכם לשלום מלכי השלום מלכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Seitchem l'shalom, malachi ha-shalom,
מלכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלאכים
hakadosh baruch hu. Baruch hu.
Baruch hu. RebeSoul.
Shlomit. Shalom Aleichem. Okay, so now, she was talking about choreography, so I'll continue the choreography now. You'll see it's very exciting. Oh, you see nothing. Wait till she really gets going, We're cooking with gas on this one. So this is actually not only sung on Shabbat. It's sung, I think, for every service, I believe. And it's these are the words of Yaakov when he was on his deathbed, and this is the way he blessed his grandsons with these words. It's in the Torah, it's in the Siddur, and now there are in a lot of families there are parents that say these to their children when they retire at night. They'll sing it or say that say it as a way to bless them. And it's a pretty song. It goes like this. Hamalach hagoel oti, hamalach hagoel oti mekora, yivarech et hane'arim, vaykareh behem shemi. Hamalach hagoel oti, hamalach hagoel oti mekora, yivarech et hane'arim, vaykareh behem shemi. V'shem avotai, v'shem avotai, Avraham v'Yitzchak v'Yidgularov, v'Yidgularov b'kerev haaretz. Hamalach hagoel oti, hamalach hagoel oti mekora, yivarech et hane'arim, vaykareh behem shemi. V'shem avotai, v'shem avotai, Avraham v'Yitzchak v'Yidgularov, v'Yidgularov b'kerev haaretz. V'shem avotai, v'shem avotai, Avraham v'Yitzchak v'Yidgularov, v'Yidgularov b'kerev haaretz, b'kerev haaretz, b'kerev haaretz, b'kerev haaretz. So maybe I should take this opportunity. If you got a cell phone, now's a good time. Turn it off. No, it's okay. Don't worry. It happens all the time. I just happened to think about it before I got up here, so I turned off mine. But it's easy to forget because we keep these things on all the time these days. It's like a leash that's attached to us. It seems. But I'll give you a sec to do that, and I'll do more of my choreography actually while you're doing that. See, that's what happens when you're in close proximity. You can't get away with anything. You see, everyone sees everything. It's like, oh, look at he just dropped the cable. Oh my God. That could have been my phone right there, So at the end of Kabbalat Shabbat, we do something called Lachadodi. And, I keep feeling like I'm twisting around to catch this whole side over here. I must be facing this way, but I don't mean to ignore you. In fact, if you want to move closer over here, you're certainly welcome to. I'd love to see you all. So, Lachadodi. So toward one of the very last things in Kabbalat Shabbat is Lachadodi. And if just in case, are there any people, any Bulgarians here by any chance? No, because this is actually a Bulgarian melody, so I just thought maybe someone would recognize it, but apparently not, so okay. It's something that was written based on a Bulgarian melody, seriously it is, and it was written by Basia Schechter, who's a wonderful singer, songwriter in New York City, and she had a band called Pharaoh's Daughter that started around the same time I started RebeSoul, and we were doing this concert together. I think she played this, and I thought, wow, that is really cool. And so when I think of it, I always like to play this for the Lachadodi, because I think it's really something. So hopefully I can remember it all here. Lachadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabala. Lachadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabala. Shamor v'zachor b'divur echad Hishmianu el ham-yuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem tiferet v'litila L'chadodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela L'chadodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Okay, now let me pause for the cause just for a second here. So the chorus, you probably guessed it, folks, is Lachadodi. You probably heard it a couple of times. So I invite you all to sing around. We could do a round just for, like rehearsal's sake. So you ready? Okay, a few of you are ready. Those of you who are just kind of reserved saying, well, maybe we're ready, I don't know. We'll see if my next door neighbor does it. But it goes like this. L'chadodi likrat kala. You got that? L'chadodi likrat kala. Now, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. And by the way, it's Kabbalah. All this time, I'd heard Americans do this, and I always thought, man, these guys, I'm going to Israel, and these guys are so dumb. They keep saying Kabbalah. And I know people study Kabbalah, right? Kabbalah, so I was doing Kabbalah. And I went over this, actually, with Shlomit, and I sent her a little tape. I said, well, here, check this out. Maybe you can learn it or something. And she got back to me, and the only comment she said, it's not Kabbalah, it's Kabbalah. And I thought, oh, man. All this time, I thought I was like on top of the world, this great scholar or something like that. Nothing doing. It's Kabbalah. So let's try that again, and hopefully I'll even remember. L'chadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Again. L'chadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha Ki mekor ha'beracha Mirosh mikedem lesuka Sof ma'aseh ma'machzava tehila. You got it? L'chadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Migdash melech melucha u'mitzaim mitoch afecha rak lashevet be'mechabacha v'hu yachmol elaychem la. L'chadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Now we get to the very end, and now this is where you kind of, invite the Shabbat in, and it goes like this. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala גם בשמחה ובצער. That we all stand and we face an opening over there would be cool. And then you bow a little bit. Boikala, boikala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Again, it sounds so cool. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Please, everyone, be seated. We're going to do a little song now, a Shabbat song. This is another melody that comes just from Shabbat. Though usually, if we were going to do this next song, Dorori Karan, we oftentimes would be around the Shabbat table. We'd be eating. This would be a food zmira that we would sing while we'd oftentimes be around a table having a nice bite to eat. This is a song, though, that goes back 1,000 years. And so this original piyut, this melody, goes back to probably to North Africa, to Fez, 1,000 years ago. And so the words Dorori Karan come from, based on the Torah, to proclaim liberty. And this idea that Shabbat is supposed to be a day where we're supposed to be free is it's an amazing idea, because for most of human history, people can only imagine what it's like to be free. But every week we were supposed to, at Shabbat, just try to imagine what it's like. We take it for granted, but this song reminds us of that. So this is a melody. It's actually, you can actually see the words. You can find them in the Siddur. We don't do it often, but it's a beautiful melody. It's on page 4, are the Hebrew words for it. But we're gonna hear, again, this is more of an Eastern melody. 4.
נרוי קרא לבנים בת ואין צורכם כמו בעבר. נרוי קרא לבנים בת ואין צורכם כמו בעבר. נעים שמכם ולא יושבת, שבו ונוחו ביום שבת, שבו ונוחו ביום שבת. דרוש נביא ואולמי ואות ישע עשני. דרוש נביא ואולמי ואות ישע עשני. נטע שורק בתוך עמי, ששבת בני עמי, ששבת בני עמי. דרו יקרא לבן עם בת ועם צורכם כמו
The great Shlomit Levi. By the way, in Israel, she has a kind of a nickname that they call her, and you got a little history from your good Rabbi Mark here, but they call her the new Ofra Chaza in Israel. I think she deserves it.
She was a great inspiration for me, definitely.
So we're calling audibles now because the order was changed, and I'm trying to figure out what. Okay. I hear, I obey. Okay.
Exactly, that's what he has to do, right? Do you agree with me? I'm always right, but end up doing what he wants. But yeah.
Okay, so that's the one, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we're going to see a little more choreography here.
Okay. So, how are you today? Good. Anybody know anything about the Ammonite culture? Any experience? Somebody ate something Yemenite, danced the Yemenite dance, heard a story? Oh, that's good. Nobody's perfect, you know. It's like, at least you knew some Yemenite people. That's good. Now you all know. Yeah. Really?
Yeah, I'll be doing several more encores as the night goes on, I can assure you. So.
One A.
Okay, we're going to have to go through that whole thing again. Who is the person that the... there, okay. Okay, so this is a song I think everybody knows. It's like almost like a folk song, you know? Ready? Oh, se shalom binomah, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oh, se shalom binomah, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. For the memory of Ofra Chaza, I would like to try something. I would start with the Imnin Alu a cappella, and then go into Galbi, which we did a new arrangement for. Galbi is a song that Ofra Chaza sang. It means my heart, Galbi.
And this song talks about don't take my freedom away from me. Let my heart be free. And the first a cappella is speaking, if the gates of the generous one, the donors, are closed, the gates of heaven are always open. قلبي يحب الهوى لا تمنعه مني قلبي يحب الهوى لا تمنعه مني لا لي حبيب يستمع قولي ويرحمني لا لي حبيب يستمع قولي ويرحمني لي دمع عيني يكون باب السماء مفتوح لي دمع عيني يكون باب السماء مفتوح يا ربي ارحم وداوي قلبي المجروح يا ربي ارحم وداوي قلبي المجروح na 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 من فين أجيه لك ومن فين ألتوي بعدك من فين أجيه لك ومن فين ألتوي بعدك من فين تريك المحبة لداخلي قلبك من فين تريك المحبة لداخلي قلبك مندي جرح ذا القلب مندي تعاداني مندي جرح ذا القلب مندي تعاداني ما حد يغيرك شبيه الكاس والسيني ما حد يغيرك شبيه
So again, those two songs should only be allowed to be sung by Ofra Haza or Shlomit, the Galbi and Imni Alu. So those are two, if you want to go back and listen to some of the great Ofra Haza tunes, you heard just sort of beautifully, but again, those two are two very powerful songs based on Yemenite Arabic words and Arabic tradition. So you listen, you can. Some of the biggest music that's reached even Yemenite. Listen, Yemen is in the middle of a civil war right now. And amazingly, the singers from Israel, people like Ofra Haza, Shlomit, Iowa, there's a lot of people in Yemen who would not like to admit that they're listening to Jewish musicians, and they love the music that is being sung in Arabic by these Jewish women who are keeping these traditions alive, even in a country where they're kind of dismantling their own tradition. It's kind of ironic that a lot of these sounds, they're being recorded in Israel. So it's an amazing thing to think about how music brings people together and keeps traditions alive, even against all odds. So we're going to take a moment, as we do all the time when we're in a room together, in a place together. Again, we want everyone to stay healthy. It's good that people are still, masking up and getting vaccinated and taking care of their health. A lot of stuff going on right now, and it's not just COVID. There's people we're thinking of in our community that are fighting viral infections and things like that that have nothing to do with COVID. But we're going to take a moment to say Misha Barach as we think about them. It's good to see Rosemary back in full strength. As a lot of you heard, she unfortunately had to return from Israel early, but she's doing great. We had a few other people that came down with different things. Joyce Schulman is resting. She's doing okay. I spoke to her yesterday. We're praying for her too. But again, please say the names of people you're thinking of. Karen Barnett in our community is also battling some bronchial infections too. A lot of stuff going on, but please say the names out loud of the people that you're personally thinking of in need of a Misha Barach right now, a prayer for healing. So just raise your hand so we can call on you, and you can say those names as we go around the room. Harvey?
John Merton.
Sammy Frankel.
Frank Ruman.
Frankie Sidoti, Fash Benevent, Sophia and Marty Frumpkin, Sidel Fishman.
Rachel Nahabadian Balance.
Karen Barnett, Sue Jackson, Ollie Dexter, Mark Walker, Jerry Cattell.
Mike Schwartz and Joyce Shepherd. Dorian Hallbecker.
Darren Shepherd, Mary Lou Block, and Mike Schwartz.
Herb Sterlitz.
Rita Refat, Vivian Gold.
Grace Wilsey.
So we're going to sing Misha Barach. The melody, the words are on page 15 in your Siddur. This is a melody that we know pretty well, a melody composed by Debbie Friedman. And again, as we think about healing, as we pray for courage and strength in the face of illness, caring for those that we love, we're fighting illness, our friends and family. Misha Barach, page 15.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
So now we're going to go back to some Shabbat and some melodies that bring us some of those, more of those flavors from the East. It's really, you say from the East, but I guess it all depends on your perspective of where you are on the planet. But for us, it's all kind of pretty much going to be towards the East, even if it's from St. Louis, it would be from the East. But,
If you're from India, however, all bets are off there, I guess.
Oh, my mic is muted now. Well, anyways, I'm going to be off of the mic now anyway. So we're going to go, I think we're going to do Harachaman now. And this is part of, well, several ways of doing blessings and songs. Harachaman, the merciful one of the titles we have for God in our tradition.
So this starts off with a chant, and the words, if you can follow along, the words go like this. Keep going. Harachaman hu yitin achava v'em b'nei Yitzchak u'v'em b'nei Yishmael Harachaman hu yitin achava v'em b'nei Yitzchak u'v'em b'nei Let me see if I can give a rough translation. Okay, so may the merciful one grant achava, which is kind of like brotherhood, between the children of Yitzchak, Isaac, those are Jews, that's us, and Bnei Ishmael, that's basically the Muslim world. So it's a prayer for peace between Jews and Muslims. And this was very relevant when I wrote it probably decades ago on my Fringe of Blue album, and it's still relevant now, unfortunately. But okay. הרחמן הוא ייתן לחווה חווה ובין בני יצחק ובין בני ישמעאל הרחמן הוא ייתן לחווה חווה ובין בני יצחק ובין בני ישמעאל ישמעאל Ishmael. The word is just Ishmael. 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 Ishmael.
While we were in Israel a couple of weeks ago, we saw another outbreak of violence, and people asked, and actually even before we left, there were some attacks, actually an attack in Jerusalem, literally the day before we left. And so people said, are you scared of going, and are you scared of being there? We had actually one person from San Diego that didn't end up going, but overall everyone came on the trip. And unfortunately, about a week and a half into the trip, there were shootings here in Los Angeles. Jews were targeted in Pico Robertson area. So I said to the people on the bus, when people, Philip was there as a witness and Kelly, I said, look, you know, people ask, am I scared? Well, I try not to be scared ever, but why would I be more scared in Israel than I am in my own backyard? There was shootings in Monterey Park and in Half Moon Bay, and 3 or 4 shootings in California just before I left. So it's unfortunate, and it's also something that when we come to this time, this part of our service, we also take a moment to remember and to honor our loved ones of blessed memory. And we're actually going to do a song. We're going to do a version of Sinai, of Psalm 121, which is traditionally one of the psalms that we say at a memorial. Sometimes it's said actually at funerals. Sometimes it's said during Yizkor services. It's a psalm which is not also like Psalm 23, even a more famous psalm that we say at funerals. Neither one is specifically about death at all. They're about having hope and courage, and in Sinai, the imagery that we use, also similar to Psalm 23, is the beauty of nature. And in Sinai, we look to the mountains, we look to the hills, and we're inspired by that. Now, we're lucky. We're in Southern California, and specifically right here in Santa Clara. You can look up to the hills, and right now they're covered in snow. It's one of the beautiful things when we look at the mountains to think about the majesty of nature, the history, the geology of the natural world. But we also get strength from it, and we take courage from it, and we're inspired by it. And so as our ancestors who lived in the hills of Judea thousands of years ago, and to King David, who we attribute many of the Psalms to, looked to the mountains and to nature and to the role he had as a shepherd to the animals in his flock, and was inspired by them, and reminded himself and everyone for the thousands of years later who've been reading these Psalms and singing these Psalms to not be afraid. So this is Sinai. This is a version that some people have heard before. I lift my eyes to the to God. What do I see towards the mountains? El HaHarim. So I'm going to turn it back over to to RebeSoul to help us with Psalm 121 with Esai and I. And I think this is the Karlebach version. I think he popularized, I don't know if he composed it, but he definitely popularized this melody to Esai and I.
Esainai elehanim me'ayin yavo ezri. Esainai elehanim me'ayin yavo ezri. Sinai el harim me'ayin me'ayin yavo ezri Sinai el harim me'ayin me'ayin yavo ezri
Ezri me'im Hashem oseh shamayim va'aretz
Ezri me'im Hashem oseh shamayim va'aretz
Ezri me'im Hashem oseh shamayim va'aretz
Ezri me'im Hashem oseh shamayim shamayim va'aretz
shamayim va'aretz
shamayim va'aretz
shamayim
On page 36, as we turn to the Kaddish of remembrance, Mourner's Kaddish, and as we remember tonight the yard sites, the losses at this time of year, Morris Friedel, Siegfried Kaswan, Jacob Wolpert, Robert Ellen, Barry Lampert, Ethel Monheim, Elsie Kivnick, Jack Aronowitz, Eva Reef, Mike Mandel, Rhoda Oster, Ann Ritzius, Beverly Perlman, Lynn Perlman, Sean Goodman, Elmer Brill, Herman Hornstein, Kay Sheffs, Gene Oppenheim, and Marjorie Birnbaum. And we mourn the first yard site, the passing of Mariel Mandel, the sister of Rosemary Watson. And we remember over the last year the passing of Sandra Hochberg, John King, Daniel Cohen, Dolores Pearl, Mo Blumen, Eric Milak, Barbara Hopkins, Matthew Himlin, Anita Locker, Mina Hirsch, Harriet Lipschitz, Sherwin Golden, Debbie Schulman, Marvin Jubis, and Jerry Weiss. If there are people that you're personally remembering now whose names we haven't said, we ask you to say them before we say Mourner's Kaddish.
Rosa Goldfarb, my mother.
And during this last Shloshim period, we also remember the victims of war and terror in our Holy Land and throughout the Middle East. And we also remember the victims of war in this very moment in Ukraine. On page 36, we rise for the Mourner's Kaddish, again, as we remember our loved ones of blessed memory. Yitkadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei, B'chaye chon uvyomei chon, V'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'zman kari ve'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudesha b'richu, Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Osei shalom b'imrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say together, Amen. Amen. Please be seated, everyone. We're going to finish up with a couple of final selections. We're going to do a couple of songs that we're going to be able to hear. Well, we love hearing RebeSoul, but Shlomit is truly a gift today, right? Thank you for bringing her down to be with us. We're going to hear. She's going to do Kol Dodi with you, right, or not? Is that one of them? I hope. Yes. And then also. Yachdar. She's going to do that, because those are, yeah, well, please. I could say 4 words in somewhat in Arabic. Anyways, we can say shukran, but that's about it. Anyways, we're definitely very grateful to have Shlomit with us, because it's getting us into the mood of Purim, I think, because she's like Esther, don't you think? It almost feels like we have Esther in our midst, but we're going to have a very special Purim celebration right here in this room Monday evening, right? And so this is very cool that we're going to be able to celebrate Purim at 7 p.m. We're going to be here. You're supposed to come in costume. Wendy's been rehearsing with Rick and Addie, right? And we have some very special songs, some fun. Of course, we're going to have food and drinks. I guess a lot of drinks. I'm starting Purim. I celebrate Purim from whenever it is all the way to St. Patrick's Day. So that's like going to be like a week and a half. Anyways, but that'll be a lot of fun. And please come in costume. What kind of costume do you want people to come in, really, Wendy? It doesn't really matter, but just come in costume. Fun and colorful. Yeah. So we're going to do that. So come and on Monday evening at 7. And as I mentioned, we also have our Israel info night on Thursday night. So we have 2 special things going on this week that are not the normal things. But we also have our Tuesday class. Our Beyond the Torah study class is going to be here on Tuesday at 9 a.m. And Wednesday night our learning from our lessons from Leviticus, which also could be leaving Leviticus, because this is our last week studying Vayikra. On Wednesday evening, we'll finish the last few chapters of Vayikra. And then next week, we go into Bamidbar. We go into the wilderness, which is very, very interesting, very tough reading for those who haven't read the book of Numbers before. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And Tuesdays, we're reading Isaiah right now. We're kind of in the middle of the book of Yeshayahu, of the prophet Isaiah. So there's a lot of learning going on, our regular stuff, in addition to Purim and that kind of really cool stuff going on right now. And I would be remiss if I didn't remind people again of the Day of Mahjong, which now has about 45 people playing Mahjong around the corner from here, but it is our Mahjong day on the 12th. So that's a week from this Sunday is our Mahjong day. So there's a lot of people that have already, I think you have to RSVP by the end of this weekend, but a lot of people already signed up for that. And as I told you, we have a lot of people signed up for our Israel trip, which we're very excited about. We have 30 people signed up already, just around 30. We have about 10 more spots for the June trip. So that'll be to Israel, and for 3 days will be as an extension, if you'd like to go, it's an optional extension to Jordan. So that is coming up from June 18th to July 1st. Anyways, those are the announcements. Those are the things to remind people, we need to remind people about. Philip, is there anything else we need to remind people as a board president? You want to say anything?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. But anyways, but Philip and, as I said, Kelly, I'm not going to tell you, they had a great time in Israel. They're still glowing. They're still excited they want to go back, right? All I hear from them today is, when are we going to go back? So June is too soon for them, in all fairness. I think they are almost started thinking about it. But no, it's a very similar itinerary. So anyways, hopefully next year. I actually was on the phone with Israel yesterday. We're working on putting a Taglit trip, a birthright trip together. We did one about 6 years ago from Santa Clarita, and I think we're going to have one at the end of the year in January or beginning of next year as an opportunity for the 22 to 26-year-olds. So we're trying to put that together, and all the trips, the Taglit trips for the summer, sold out. They're all booked. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't try if you have a 18 to 26-year-old to try to get on in case there's people that drop off. But that's what's going on for Trips Israel, which is wonderful to see everyone going there. So we're going to finish up in here. We're going to the oneg is set up actually in the classrooms is because you can see as our room here, our oneg kind of setup room is still under construction. I want to thank Philip and the board who made sure we got all this maintenance done. And it was not easy to do over the last few weeks because the elements did not cooperate with our labor, with our work. So thank you for making sure that got done. So we're going to finish up with some tunes to help us get into the spirit of Shabbat and into the spirit of Adar. We're supposed to be celebrating this whole month, so definitely, you're not even supposed to celebrate through St. Patrick's. You're supposed to go beyond St. Patrick's Day. For us, Carnival goes on a whole month of Adar. It's a whole month, so, and it's not just a day. So, I'm going to turn it back over to RebeSoul, Shlomit, if you'd give us a little bit of energy to help us.
Kol dodi, kol dodi nezemba. Kol dodi, nezemba. Medaleg alehare, mekapetz ale agivaot. Medaleg alehare, mekapetz ale agivaot. Kol dodi, nezemba. Kol dodi, nezemba. Okay, so let me teach you what do you think? The words would be cool for that. Okay. So this is, since it's from Shir HaShirim, this is a very romantic song. So let's see, married people here, great thing to say to your spouse. Perfect thing. If you're not married, it's probably a good thing to get a spouse, for something like this. So, let's see, we have a couple of people here who are definitely under the age of 21 or something like that. So this would be a good one for you to remember. Kol dodi. So first of all, kol dodi, let me hear you. Okay, those of you under the age of 21, kol dodi. Okay, I think they're going to, see, now is that going to get them anywhere? No. Try it again. Okay, well, I heard one of you. The other one, put down your Rubik's Cube. Or wherever you got over there. Yeah. So, kol dodi. Okay, well, it's the same one. She will go far, don't you think? So, kol dodi means the voice of my beloved, the voice of my beloved. And then hine zeba is coming, basically. So, kol dodi hine zeba. Okay, that was pretty good. Usually it takes a little while to get that one, but you're on the top of the game there. So let's put it together. Kol dodi, kol dodi, kol dodi nezemba. You got it? See, a little train wreck there, I think. Kol dodi, kol dodi, kol dodi nezemba. You got it? With the music. Kol dodi, kol dodi, kol dodi nezemba. You got it? Let's do a verse. Here we go. Kol dodi, kol dodi, kol dodi nezemba. Kol dodi, kol dodi, Kol Dodi Nezebra, Nijale Gale Harim, Mekapet Sale Agibaot, Nijale Gale Harim, Mekapet Sale Agibaot. Kol Dodi, Kol Dodi, Kol Dodi, Kol Dodi Nezeba, Kol Dodi, Kol Dodi, Kol Dodi Nezeba.
את דודי מקהלה, בואי אל גני. את דודי מקהלה, בואי אל גני.
Barcha gefenna in Itzuarim onim. Barcha gefenna in Itzuarim onim. Edodim gala boel gane. Edodim gala boel gane.
Bacha gefen netzu imonim. Bacha gefen netzu
Kol Dodi, Kol Dodi, Kol Dodi, Kol Dodi Nezeba, Kol Dodi, Kol Dodi, Kol Dodi Nezeba.
הנה זה בא.
Nezeba.
הנה זה בא.
Nezeba.
הנה זה בא. Thank you.
Are you giving dance lessons later?
She's got a whole a class about that thing, man.
Yes, it's called the Yemenite Experience, and I teach about the Yemenite culture, songs, and history. And I teach in Aleph ordination and AJR, and I give lectures to communities. Thank you.
So the interested student, you know. Actually, if you go to our website, I guess, right, which is shlomit-rebesoul.com, and there's probably some information on there, I would think.
Actually, yes. And if you jump into my website, shlomitlevy.com, you can find all kinds of things from Yemen. If you want to find Hawaij, which is a spice, a Yemenite spice that you put in tea, which is very healthy too, there's a link to Amazon. If you want to see Yemenite dancing, there's a link to Yemenite dancing. If you want to hear Yemenite rhythms, there's a special video, rare video there on my website that I recorded. Somebody from Yemen banging on an olive can, doing amazing things with that. You probably are, okay, I have to say that, but in Yemenite people did not play any instruments. They were not allowed. They said to themselves that they will not play a musical instrument because of the destruction of the temple. So they, but still, they had music and they had rhythm. So how did they do that? They used everyday things. So they took a can of olive oil, especially like square one, and they banged on it with pieces
Thimbles,
of metal. Yes.
Thimbles?
Thimbles, thank you. Silver thimbles, and it makes amazing sound. Or they would just take a spoon and hit tray, a metal tray. So that's how we did the rhythm, and that's why the Yemenite singing is so complex and elaborate. So yeah, that was a quick lesson. One? Okay, now it's working. Now we're going to do a song called Yachdav Chudari. And you can start. One of my favorites. It's from our album, The Seal of Solomon. It's about a young boy and a young girl who met near the river. And they really fell in love with each other. But their parents wouldn't approve. So what do you say? Who would win? Love would win or the parents? So listen carefully to the lyrics and find out. يخدر خداري قال أهلي عيروني بك يخدر خداري قال أهلي عيروني بك وحينما عيروني زاد حبي لك وحينما عيروني زاد حبي لك غنيت قالوا عشق سليت قالوا تاب غنيت قالوا عشق سليت قالوا تاب بكيت قالوا ما سيكن فارك الأحباب بكيت قالوا ما سيكن فارك الأحباب زلجت لك بالهوى يا خلي تتقلاش زلجت لك بالهوى يا خلي تتقلاش ومن سواد الميداد بالكافة تتنقاش 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 التيب والعطر والما وردتي ترشراش التيب والعطر والما وردتي ترشراش التيب والعطر ولا ما وردتي ترشرش أتيبال أو ترهب ولا ما وردتي ترشرش. Yay! Exactly.
So now you know the answer to the question: who won the thing, right? Because she was saying,
Yeah,
you
usually we
listen to
do
the
it.
words.
Didn't you understand anything that I said? Nothing?
So we're going to finish up in here. We're going to, as I said, we have the onyx set up there, but we're going to say I saw the hamotzi, a little challah there. We have a little hamotzi bread right there. We'll do that together. But we're going to go out though to we're going to do one last song. We're going to do, this is a song that you wrote.
Oh yeah.
This is a song of peace. This is an easy one because it gets everybody singing one last song together. It's shalom.
Shalom.
And that's a word that you guys know. Even if you don't know a lot of Hebrew, you know shalom. But it also says salam in it too, which is Arabic for peace.
Salam. It says a few other things too, which you'll hear. And it starts off, why can't it be now? Why can't it be today?
Why?
Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today? Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today? What am I saying? Shalom, salam, kozim lufu om shanti. Shalom, salam, kozim lufu om shanti.
Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today? למה לא עכשיו? למה לא היום? למה לא עכשיו? למה לא היום? למה לא עכשיו? למה לא היום?
Shalom,
Shalom,
salam,
salam,
kozim lufu om shanti. Shalom, salam, kozim lufu om shanti. Shalom, salam, kozim lufu om shanti. Shalom, salam, kozim lufu om shanti. Okay, so the words are very easy. First word is shalom. Let me hear you say shalom. Okay, perfect. Everyone knows that. Second word means the same thing. Salam. Okay, that's Arabic. And the third one is kozen rufu.
Kozen rufu.
Okay, well that wasn't too bad right
Wasn't
there.
too bad, yeah.
Usually
Usually
speaking of train wrecks,
Yeah.
that's like a big potential one right there. So kozen rufu. Okay, that's like Japanese, I think, or yeah, Japanese. Our RebeSoul singer is a chanting Buddhist. They chant in Japanese, and she taught me kozen rufu kind of means, global brotherhood and stuff like that, world peace. So it's all the same thing. And the last one is shanti. Okay, every good Jew knows that one. Shanti. Okay, perfect. And that also means the same thing. So we got shalom, salam, kozen rufu, shanti. Okay, now you may notice in the words we say Om Shanti. There's a very deep spiritual meaning for that. And basically in songwriting, I just needed another syllable, so that was about it right there. So, Shalom, Salam, kozen rufu Om Shanti. You can join me on this one. Shalom, Salam, kozen rufu Om Shanti. Shalom, Salam, kozen rufu Om Shanti. Shalom, Salam, Kozen Rufum Shanti. Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today? You got it, what is it?
Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today?
Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today? You want one here?
Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today?
Shalom,
Shalom,
Salam,
Salam,
Kozen Rufum Shanti. Shalom,
Shalom,
Salam, Kozen Rufum Shanti. Shalom, Salam, Kozen Rufum Shanti. Shalom, Salam, Kozen Rufum Shanti. Okay, your turn, just you. One more time.
Beautiful.
Shalom, salam. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom. Thank you to RebeSoul, to Shlomit. Thank you very much. Yeshua Koach, thank you so much for getting us into Shabbat spirit, getting us into Purim spirit, to having some fun together, and to making this Shabbat super special. So thank you, everyone, for being here and being a part of this Temple Beth and Me experience. We're going to, you didn't have to bring them all in, but that's okay. Just bring in one. We're going to bring in one, Sammy. If you want to just bring in one, we'll make our Kiddush and Hamotzi. And then, again, all the food's set up in the classroom. And again, please spend a moment here, and we can thank our two musical guests personally. And come on in. Okay, Sheila, you can come in too. Whatever. All right, so let's do our Kiddush. Come, Zach. All right, so everyone, if you want to stand up, we're all going to make our Kiddush and Hamotzi blessings together. Ready? Oh, it's yours. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei uri hagafen. Amen. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in happy chorus, as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Everyone, take a little challah, and again, up in the classroom, if you want to come up and join us for Oneg. Thank you again.